Tonight, as Julian Assange spends his second day behind bars, wanted in Sweden for questioning in relation to alleged sex crimes, his allies on the internet have declared all-out war on the money movers undercutting WikiLeaks' ability to do business. Number one story, MasterCard announced Monday it would no longer process payments to WikiLeaks. This morning, internet activists crashed its website. This afternoon, Visa.com crashed. Tonight, Twitter might be next. It suspended an Operation Payback account. The group calling itself Anonymous has been waging Operation Payback for a few months now. The group says it is dedicated to a, quote, anonymous, decentralized movement that fights against censorship and copy wrong. That would be a pun on copyright. In October, Anonymous released the following V for Vendetta-tinged video.
We are legion and divided by zero.
We do not forgive internet censorship, and we do not forget free speech.
We are over 9,000.
Expect us.
Anonymous tweeting today, quote, there are some things WikiLeaks can't do. For everything else, there's Operation Payback. MasterCard says its customers' transactions were not affected. Visa Europe this week began suspending payments to WikiLeaks pending an investigation into, quote, whether they contravene Visa operating rules. This afternoon on Twitter, Anonymous turned its guns on Visa. We are attacking www.visa.com in an hour. Get your weapons ready. An hour later, fire weapons. Both MasterCard and Visa's websites back up. And then there is PayPal, the online banking site which suspended its account with WikiLeaks, which survived its own DOS attack on Monday. Today in Paris at a technology conference, PayPal's vice president, Osama Bader, was asked to explain his company's decision to suspend that WikiLeaks account. The reason, he said, a State Department letter.
What happened here is on November 27th, the State Department, the U.S. government, basically wrote a letter saying that the WikiLeaks activity were deemed illegal in the United States. And as a result, our policy group had to make the decision of suspending the account.
Joining me now, Jim Moore, author and of MoreThink.com, also contributor to the Huffington Post. His column today was titled, I Am Julian Assange. Good evening, Jim.
Hi, Keith.
The State Department alleges what WikiLeaks did blatantly illegal, and then companies like PayPal pull the plug on WikiLeaks accounts. How many things are wrong with that, in your opinion?
Well, if it's illegal, he hasn't been charged. The leaking of the information, and the information that's been published has been published in newspapers, carefully redacted to protect people, and then perhaps they should charge newspapers if they're going to charge him with leaking the information.
The one argument against this, though, that resonates is that this was not purpose-driven like, say, the Pentagon Papers. Today, the Anonymous here, whoever that is, leaked 10,000 MasterCard card numbers. Is there a dividing line between whistleblowing, sort of techno reporting, and computer hacking, or do we have to take the good with the bad?
Well, I think that probably a line was crossed there, but it's also a kind of a bow shot to say, look, we have the ability to do things that you aren't giving us credit for, and we are going to take advantage of our skills. If you're going to try to control information that we receive, we're going to affect your businesses. And I think they're very much trying to send a message. Should they make public MasterCard records and numbers? Of course not. But I think they're clearly trying to say, watch out. We can do more than we're already doing.
Daniel Ellsberg, who was obviously the force behind the Pentagon Papers, using the new technology with a tweet today that read, every attack now made on Assange and WikiLeaks and was made against me and release of the Pentagon Papers. From your recollection of that case, is Ellsberg right? Is this just an updated 21st century technologically improved version of the attack on Ellsberg?
Yeah, well, I was a long-haired hippie walking in the streets of Washington protesting the war back then. And I remember when this happened, and everybody was saying, who is Ellsberg, and why would the government say this? Everything that has been said about Julian Assange is precisely the things that were said about Daniel Ellsberg. And ultimately, Ellsberg's information was proved right. The information was valuable. It helped guide public opinion. And the same thing is happening with what WikiLeaks is putting out. It's guiding public opinion. And they're trying to vilify the individual in order to shut down the process. And it's the process that's critical. It's the internet that is now the tool. This is no longer about Julian Assange. This is about the empowerment of individuals and the power of information.